Okay, imagine this. A company reaching heights no other public company has ever reached before. Briefly touching a valuation that, well, it just boggles the mind.
Yeah,
That's exactly what Nvidia just did. So today, we're doing a deep dive into Nvidia, the tech giant everyone seems to be talking about.
absolutely.
Our mission here is to unpack all the recent news swirling around them, the huge market cap stuff, their global moves, and really what's underneath it all, what's driving this.
Right.
And this deep dive, it's built on a whole stack of specific sources, articles, reports, so we can hopefully cut through the noise and get you the essential insights.
And it's important, I think, because this moment for NVIDIA, it's not just a financial headline, is it? It really reflects these massive shifts in technology that are happening right now.
Exactly. It gives you a window into that bigger picture.
Understanding NVIDIA's place helps you grasp where things are heading, especially with AI becoming so central. Specialized compute power is like the new gold standard for innovation.
Okay, let's dig into that incredible valuation story then. Hitting $4 trillion, even briefly. I mean, what's really powering that kind of rise? Is it just hype or something more solid?
Well, it's definitely more than hype.
We saw on July 9th, 2025, they did technically become the first public company to cross $4 trillion during the day's trading. Peaked around $4.012 trillion, I think, then pulled back a bit.
That's right. And the sheer velocity of that growth, that's what's fascinating.
So what's behind it?
It's overwhelmingly driven by the just booming demand for AI.
Yeah.
Think about the major players, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, xAI.
All the big names.
Yeah, they're all scrambling basically to get NVIDIA specialized hardware. They need it for their models, for their research, for everything.
And that demand translates directly to the stock price, I guess.
Absolutely. It's fueled this really impressive short-term performance. The stock jumped nearly 40% in just the last 3 months. 40%.
Wow. Okay, so with that kind of trajectory, it gets really interesting to think about what the experts are saying, right? The analysts who follow this stuff day in, day out.
Yeah, what's the outlook?
Are they as bullish as the market seems to be right now, or are people starting to say, hold on a second?
Well, if you look at the analyst sentiment, connecting it to that bigger picture we mentioned, it's overwhelmingly positive still. Very bullish.
Really? Like who?
Take Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, for instance. He just reaffirmed an outperform rating. And his target price, up to $175.
$175, okay.
And his reasoning is pretty clear. NVIDIA's leadership in AI computing hardware, they're just seen as the indispensable player right now.
And are others seeing similar potential?
Oh, yeah. It gets even more optimistic. You have firms like Barclays and Loop Capital. They're projecting potential market caps reaching, get this, up to $6 trillion.
$6 trillion, that's hard to even comprehend.
It is. Now, obviously, there's always caution, right? Markets fluctuate. But the prevailing view seems to be that NVIDIA is, still in the relatively early stages of this whole AI supercycle. There's still a long way to run.
Okay, so stepping away from the sort of financial numbers and analyst views for a second, where is NVIDIA actually putting its footprint down globally? What are the real world strategic moves happening?
Right, beyond the stock price. Well, they're making significant moves on the ground. Let's start with Israel.
Okay.
NVIDIA's put out what's called an RFI, a request for information. It's basically the first step in planning a major project.
For what exactly?
To set up a huge new AI data center campus. We're talking about 180,000 square meters, roughly, near Yokneam.
Wow, that's massive.
It is. And the potential there is, creating thousands of high-tech jobs, a big investment in the region.
And what about other key markets? China always comes up.
Yes, definitely shifting focus to China. It's a complex market for them, obviously, given the U.S. restrictions. But they have plans.
What kind of plans?
They're aiming to launch a specific AI chip for the Chinese market by September 2025. It's based on their Blackwell architecture, the RTX Pro 6000.
But tailored for China, you mean, to get around the rules.
Exactly. That's the key detail. This chip will be, let's say, modified, stripped of certain advanced features that fall under U.S. export controls.
Ah, okay. So it's compliant, but maybe not the absolute top-tier version available elsewhere.
Precisely. It's designed to comply with the rules while still offering a high-performance option for that market. It's a balancing act.
Makes sense. And the CEO is involved.
Yeah, Jensen Huang is apparently expected to visit Beijing around the time of the launch. That really underscores how strategically important China still is for them, despite the challenges.
Which brings us neatly to those challenges, because, no company, especially one growing this fast and operating globally, does so without hitting some bumps, right? Some headwinds.
Absolutely not. And this really raises that important question about navigating these complex global markets.
So what are the main hurdles?
The biggest one right now is definitely those U.S. export controls we just touched on. They're directly impacting sales to China. The estimates are somewhere around $5 to $8 billion in potential sales lost or affected.
That's a significant chunk of change.
It absolutely is. It represents a real revenue hit. However, and this is crucial context, China still accounts for a really significant portion of Nvidia's overall revenue,
Even with the controls.
even with the controls. For their 2025 revenue forecast, China is expected to be about 13%. That translates to roughly $17.1 billion.
So still a massive market for them, even if restricted.
Exactly. Which is why they're developing these tailored, compliant chips.
Yep.
They need to serve that market as best they can within the rules.
And beyond just the immediate geopolitical challenges, what's the sort of longer-term view?
Yeah, it's important to broaden the perspective here. Nvidia didn't just appear overnight because of the AI boom. They have this deep, deep legacy of innovation.
Right, they've been around in graphics for ages.
For ages. And you look at recent announcements like from GTC 2025, things like the Blackwell Ultra GPUs. These aren't just faster chips. They represent like fundamental architectural leaps for AI.
And things like DGX Spark.
Right, that shows their focus on integrated systems, not just selling chips, but providing whole AI supercomputing solutions. And then there's the Rubin Feynman roadmap.
Looking further ahead.
Exactly. It's not just about the next chip. It's about strategically planning out their dominance for years, maybe the next decade. They're aiming to stay the indispensable backbone of the whole AI revolution. They want to define the future of AI computing through these multi-year plans and integrated hardware and software ecosystems.
Okay, so let's try and tie this all together. We've covered a lot: the incredible valuation, the strategic moves in places like Israel and China, the very bullish analyst outlook, but also the real challenges they face with export controls. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, just trying to stay well-informed in this space?
Well, I think if we connect all these threads, what this deep dive into NVIDIA really highlights is just how dynamic and interconnected everything is: global tech, finance, geopolitics.
It all feeds into each other.
It really does, and it shows how incredibly quickly a single company, through its innovation and its strategic decisions, can influence the entire AI landscape. And by extension, shape the future of countless other industries all around the world.
It's moving so fast.
It really is.